All right, boys and girls. I know that I normally do not do any shows around the weekdays at 11 o'clock, but I just wanted you guys to know that we were having a special live stream going on today with the lovely Carol Silva. And I'm going to bring her on right now so you guys can see her because she's absolutely beautiful.
Hello.
Hi, Carol.
Lovely
How
to
are
be
you?
here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And like I said to you before, I just think you're absolutely beautiful and you still look the exact same as you did 25 years ago in The Phantom Menace.
Oh, thank you. You are so beautiful too, Nilda. And it's lovely to follow your posts and seeing your pictures.
Thank you. So yeah, like we were just I apologize for everybody. I know we were supposed to get on at 11, but we were just discussing like all the stuff with the 25-year anniversary with the Phantom Menace and just how the fandom just started coming back and like reloving and taking much appreciation for the prequels. But honestly, Carol, like you must be very excited and thrilled to be part of such a great legacy in Star Wars, especially with the prequels where people with my generation really appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, it's so beautiful. And it's like with the anniversary last year, I had reopening my eyes to uh, what what is meant to so many people. Um, Also with the books of A.K. Johnston, when someone told me
Mhm.
you have to read the book, your character is incredible, and I was like, really? Yes. So it's been a whole journey for me discovering more about all the handmaidens, Rabe. So it's been beautiful.
Yeah, I will say, during the movie, you do get to see a few of, Queen Amidala, Padme's handmaidens, and you get to learn their names, but you never really got to like dive deep, like who their characters were. And, Johnson, the writer, she wrote absolutely three beautiful books in regards to Queen Amidala, Padme's, journey through Star Wars. And it's true what you said. You get a full detailed view of all her handmaidens, and your character was talked about so much in the books, even in comics, which, I wish we would have had more of an insight of all the handmaidens because each one of you girls had your own, specialty and stuff that you did for Padme.
Exactly. And I find it one. I did interview her when during lockdown. I was doing something called the magic of human beings, where I was
Mhm.
interviewing artists, writers, to talk about why they do what they do and their love and share that with people. And we loved so much. And that's it's she was telling me about this, how when she saw the film was her 15th birthday and she thought it was a present for her, and she's seeing the whole characters, how she was so uh, amazed and happy and sharing so many other young girls, and how inspired they were, because even there wasn't much there. That's what I find is incredible, because there wasn't much there in the characters that you could see what was going behind the scenes. But with the little that she saw, she already imagined a whole world, not only her, other women as well. And they then I started researching and I was like, oh wow, that's how they saw it, like as being all these young women together, being supportive of each other and helping each other, and to protecting the queen and guarding her, and going to like decoy, risking their lives. So for them was a really girl power movement. When I was reading about it, I was like, wow.
And like you mentioned it right there, it's about girl power movement. I started my podcasting because of the fact that there wasn't so many women Star Wars podcasters out there that were, diving deep about the lore of Star Wars. And I've always been, the forces with women. And I'm always very supportive of the women of the galaxy. And like, like I said, I was super excited that you wanted to come on because I primarily wanted to just interview only women of Star Wars because they're not really talked about as much, but they're probably, I feel, the pivotal characters of what makes Star Wars. If there wasn't Shimmy, Shimmy, we wouldn't have Anakin Skywalker. If we didn't have if we didn't have Padme and Anakin, we wouldn't have Leia. So it's like a lot of characters are very pivotal. Even with Ahsoka, we didn't get to see more of a deeper, emotional side of Anakin if it wasn't for having Ahsoka. So it's like the women of Star Wars truly mean something. And that's one thing about the handmaidens that I really did like. I love that they were there for the protection of the queen, but they genuinely did love the queen. Even at her funeral, they were all there for her, even as her decoys, like they were sacrificing themselves to make sure that the queen was protected at all times. So I love that you say that.
Yes. Oh, it beautiful. It's I was so touched when I was in this researching and reading about all what they were writing, and there was a podcast that was, I think, Woman of Saber, and I was listening when I was researching. I was listening to them, and then it was so sweet when I heard one of the woman in there talking, the podcaster saying, "Oh, and luckily there was Rabe, Carol, Cristina da Silva there representing us as well, Latin Americas," and I was laughing because it was, I thought it was so sweet because I never imagined that as well. So I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
"Oh,
also true. There's not a lot of Latin. Well, in the beginning, there wasn't a lot of Latin actors in Star Wars. Within the past 20 years, we have seen a vast change in that. So there is a lot of Latin characters now. But
yeah."
yes, I agree with what they said. Carol Christina is representing for the Latin community.
So I so knew that also never crossed my mind. So when I heard that, I was like, "Oh wow!" So this young girl was like, "Oh, felt represented there too," and so was, yes. I was very like, "Wow, I didn't know that."
So I do so we'll get into, just how you got into Star Wars. So were you a fan just in general? Did you grow up knowing I know that you grew up in Brazil, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in Brazil, was Star Wars a very popular film?
It, when I was growing up, well, for me, I don't know other people, but it it was on the TV, but wasn't something that I heard people talking about it. And but I saw. So the first film that I saw was The Return of the Jedi. So that it's my favorite film because it was my first, and I have a lot of memories, and so that was my first one. So I wasn't like a fan that I knew many things about it, or I was like one of the films that I watched. So in the beginning, that's how it was. One of the films that I watched when I was young, and was my favorite, was The Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I remember they did the 40-year anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and I went to go see it in theaters. And like honestly, I Return of the Jedi was probably like in my top 5 favorite films, but because I went to go see it in theaters and actually got to enjoy it, um, it went up on my category of like top favorite Star Wars films. And it was just very nostalgic, and like how you said I could see it in your face. You got a little bit teary eyed talking about it. But yeah, it's just that movie's it brings the feelings out of you because it's the ending of a saga, and you didn't even know that there was going to be something coming out of it years later.
I know. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So one of our friends who's live right now says Star Wars Hunter says, raising my daughter with Star Wars, it was great having many positive role models for her to look up to. The handmaidens were great. I like
ah.
that. And then we got our friend Vicente. He says, Latin America. So how did you get the call to audition for the Phantom Menace?
So at the time, I was working at Elite Premier Models, and I was. They knew I wanted to do more films and things that were um, that I had to perform, and so they were always like putting me up for different things like commercials. And when this came, I didn't know it was Star Wars, but they were looking for um, girls that had similar looks to Natalie. Like now we know why, but at the time, what they so that was their brief. So they were casting in London, and I went to the casting in Livingston Studio, Watford, North London, and there I was just filmed. They had some actions that I needed to do, and Robin, the casting director, was lovely, and she was filming and asking me to do different things. And then a few weeks after that, they asked me to go back to the studios, and then there I was went to the warehouse where there was incredible, was all the outfits were being made, lots of velvet, lots, it was so lush, was incredible. So I got to try, they wanted to see me in a dress, and then I put it on, and then when I walked in the other room was her with George Lucas, and they were checking me in my in the dress.
I
And
would have
then that
died.
was it. And then they called back my agency, and then they cast me for um, Star Wars. For so that was, yeah. And my friends who were
See,
older than me, and they were massive fans, and they were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're making the new one. You're gonna be on it. Oh, this is incredible, incredible." And for me, because of the time, I wasn't like a fan, because I watched it and I loved it, but I wasn't a fan. So I was like, oh wow, okay, oh.
I would have died. That's I have always made a joke saying like the day that I ever meet George Lucas, I'm like, just go, let me go die right now. I'll probably I wouldn't even know what to say. I wouldn't have any words. I would just look at him and then probably just shake his hand and keep moving.
Oh, and the funny thing is, he's like so uh, down to earth, so like accessible. He's there in set, and he looks at people and he talks. And um, there was a time when he were like was a in the break just before the next tape, and he ate a little chocolate, and there was a bean, and he tried to reach it, and it didn't reach. And I look at him and I said, almost. Oh yes, almost. Oh
That's so funny. So, yeah, so I guess because of the fact that you were going to be playing Queen Amidala's handmaiden, what was it like? Did you got to work closely with Natalie Portman basically?
yes.
How was that like?
Oh, such a sweetheart. She's so beautiful, so lovely. And her mom, at the time she was 16, so her mom was coming always, and I became good friends with her mom. So lovely. And it and most of the filming, so there were five handmaidens, but the majority of time was just me and Erita. That was like, so we were there every day. And then the other handmaidens would come every now and again. Like Sofia Coppola came a few times. and that was great. And I think was the time she probably was writing the Virgin Suicides.
Yes.
Uh, so yes, lots of we hang out a lot, and I was living near her at the time because they she had a house in Primrose Hill, and I was living in a flat near there as well. And once we didn't have, we had a wouldn't film the next day. We had a break, and she said, "Shall we have a picnic in Primrose Hill?" And I said, "Yes, sure." So me and her went and have a picnic in Primrose Hill.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. We have Star Wars Hunter says, when did the pressure of, if any, set in that you were involved in something big?
Well, I guess it I think it somehow it didn't, because what well, one point of one side definitely did is having like Liam Neeson was there, Nia McGregor, and
Oof.
so yes, so there was that. But everyone so lovely, so like Liam Neeson in the last day of that we filmed, he he got his call sheet and he asked us all like to sign for him. He's like, "Oh, can you sign my call sheet?"
Aw.
And Ian McGregor, because he also was living in Primrose Hill. One day I was walking on the street and I was hearing Cristina, 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 and I was like, "Who's that?" And then it was him running, pushing his baby on a trolley, saying, "Oh, do you live around here?" So everyone's so nice, and it didn't quite the coin didn't quite drop, because when we went filming in Italy in the Palace of Caserta, and before we went filming, we all were all given Star Wars posters, the old one, the original ones, because they were coming out in the cinemas and they had the posters. So they gave everyone 3 posters, and we went to film in Italy. And when we were going, I took the posters with me, and Captain Panaka, Hugh Corshi, is a really good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
We're still friends. Uh, and he's sitting next to me before we went to a plane, and it was a private plane. He's like, "Why do you have the posters? We're we're filming Star Wars in Caserta. Why are you traveling with the posters?" To see the naivety that the thing hasn't fallen on my head. Yeah, I was like, "Well, because um, the person that looks after my rent told me if I got him 2 posters signed, one for him, one for his son, he would give me like 2 months rent free." so so I'm gonna ask George Lucas to sign, because he said if George Lucas signed, and I said yes, sure, okay. So Hugh Quashik, oh Hugh, he was so funny. He looked at me and said, "Oh, I see, okay," but knew that the funniest things happened because I didn't see the how big this was, and I didn't know. There one day after filming, I'm there on the lobby of the hotel, because we always stay together in the same hotel. Yeah, the night before we are having dinner together, and was in the dinner was George Lucas, me, Natalie, Erita, Sofia Coppola.
Oh,
Her brother
wow.
was there as well, and he participated in one scene. There's a scene in the palace that you can see her and him next to each other. He's like a god. So yeah, so next day I'm there on the table with the posters after filming there in the lobby. So Natalie, she's coming down, she said, "What are you doing?" And then I explained the whole story. "Oh, I'm waiting for George Lucas to sign. When he arrives, I'll ask him to sign because I'll get some free rent." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll wait with you." And I said, "Okay, cool." And then we are talking. And she's like, "Oh, can I sign it?" Yes, sure. And then Sophie Coppola, "Can I sign it?" And everyone, so suddenly my friends were there with me and they're signing it. And then George Lucas arrived and I'm like, "George." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, sure." So so it was all like, so that's why I didn't know how big this was a deal or anything like that. It was just was funny for me. It was like, oh, okay. Uh,
Your landlord must have loved you.
yes, I think he couldn't believe. He was just like, and I was like, yeah, it was for you and your son.
I can't even imagine him getting that poster and seeing all the signatures on there. And you were like, yeah, just all my friends signed it.
Yeah. I guess now, imagine years later, it's like, wow. Yeah, years
He
later.
better have kept that.
And the poster that I kept to myself was the Return of the Jedi, of course. But Nilda, unfortunately, with moving and moving, it got lost.
Aww.
But was the memory was beautiful. So I have that.
Yeah. That story just alone is phenomenal.
Oh, so funny.
We have Jake here. He says, hey, Karol, out of curiosity, how was it working with Keira Knightley? Also, in my opinion, you ladies are the backbone of Star Wars.
Oh. So Kira, she was only 12 years old and she
Oh,
came
yeah,
with
that's
her
right.
chaperone. Yes. So she was very young and she was very nice and very excited. Like she told us one day, saying, "My agency is the same as your McGregor." So super excited. Oh, I'm in the same agents as him, and so very. She was lovely.
That's awesome. Yeah, I recently, like I said to you, I had went on my birthday to go meet Mark Hamill, but at the same convention, you and McGregor ended up being there, and just like on a whim, I ended up just purchasing the photo really quick, and I was like, I can't miss this opportunity. Um, got to meet him. He saw that I had a tattoo of his character on my arm, and he like spoke to me for like 2 seconds, but he was the nicest human being ever. And like the first thing he said out of his mouth was, he was like, hello there. And I was like, oh, I was like, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
I,
very nice.
I will say this, like everyone, I have not had a bad experience whatsoever with meeting anybody from the Star Wars fandom. Everyone has been truly awesome. They've been very nice, and the one thing that I will say is that they're extremely appreciative of their fans. For the ones who actually truly appreciate Star Wars and grew up with it since they were little.
Oh, yes, and it's uh, as I was saying, like last year, I discovered so much of the fans and their communities, and like it's how they get together. Like there is the Lego community, which they all exchange and help each other to build, and it's beautiful. There is the toys maker, there is the spaceship, there is the robot. So I've been meeting all these different communities and thinking, oh my god, from one film it created all these different communities and getting people together and share their passions, and make friends, and share the love. Also lots of work of charities. um, yes, I'm being blown away, and I'm being making friends, being invited for conventions, and then there is a small convention and they're like a family, and suddenly I become part of that family. It's beautiful.
Have you done a lot of conventions in like the United States?
I've never done any convention in the United States.
Oh, we got to bring you. We got to bring you to the United States. So I know a lot of companies that do like like do like Star Wars conventions. So I'm gonna send them your information to see if we can get you to come down to the United States to do a signing, because it would be your, because you said you've never done one before in the US.
No, never.
Oh gosh, yes, we need to make this. We need to manifest this. Your first US signing in the US.
Oh, lovely. And via Facebook, uh, Dominic, what is his surname now? Well, I know the first name. The surname doesn't. Dominic got in touch with me, and he represents artists, and he told me if I would like representation in the US. Um, so yes, so he said um, he would like to represent me, to see this, to bring me over to US. So let's see what's.
Yeah, let's see what's in store. We definitely need to bring you in.
No, I would love to go, especially like I haven't been in many conventions. I've been only to a few in the UK, and then I started like last year, went to one in France, then second one and third one.
That's so awesome. So Star Wars Hunter here says, if you can play any character in an upcoming Star Wars movie or series, what type of character would you want to play?
Ooh. I would like to be a Jedi.
I swear, everybody wants to be a Jedi. Nobody ever wants to be a Sith.
Ah.
So I do see in your background that you have a nice little collection. And I know you sent me pictures before that you do have figures of your character. So you do collect some of your Star Wars characters, do you?
Oh, yes, but also it's so um, incredible that people that are making little toys and suddenly they make the figures and they're like, oh, I'm going to send you one. And so they come in the convention, they give me the one that they made of my character. So the collection is growing. Oh, people making
We need to find you a Return of the Jedi poster.
yes, yes, yes. So and
So
because of being a puppeteer and making puppets with children and shows, also I always just love toys, and so for me it's like, oh my god, yes.
now I was gonna ask you questions about that. I will, but I'm gonna bring this up. So my buddy Rolando does our moderating, so he'll add anything, links and stuff like that. So guys, Karol does have an autograph shop, and if you guys want to click on the link, you guys can acquire an autograph from her, and hopefully we can try to get her in the near future to a convention in the United States, just so we can actually meet face to face. So you do discuss about puppeteering. Was that something that you have done for a very long time, or that you had just recently got into?
Oh, I've been doing puppetry since I think 2006.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And have you done that for like any films, TV shows?
uh Performance, like more theater and schools. So it was very interesting movement, because I was starting from performing and then to teaching and then making shows with the children, so making them do the performance. So it was like,
Oh
for
wow!
me performing to suddenly me teaching, and then helping them, facilitating them for them to perform. So when so yeah so the and this in the last then 13 years is being like lots of performance with creation myths, with myths about how the world came about from different nations, and the children
Hmm.
making and performing.
Oh wow! See, I've spoken to a few people as well in the Star Wars community who did do puppeteering. And I feel like seeing some of the films with puppeteering looked more realistic as opposed to some of the CGI stuff that we saw. If they had
Ah,
ever asked you to do some puppeteering for Star Wars, would you 100% go and do it?
for some, yes, if there is some puppeteering that they would, yes, need it.
Now, I always like to ask these questions. Who is your favorite Star Wars character of all time?
Oh my God, that's very easy. Rah, rah.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. I love Chewbacca.
Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
And then it's funny
We need
because
to get you like a life-size Chewy.
no, and it's and I keep them together. Look at this.
Oh, yay.
I think we writers, there is some thinking there about like the working together with the handmaidens.
Yeah.
And
So if any of you guys haven't, Carol and I discussed this earlier. If you guys haven't checked it out, there are a series of 3 books based off of the outside life of Queen Amidala slash Padme. And in these books by Johnson, you get to actually get a more pivotal view of all her handmaidens. So I highly recommend you guys checking them out. I actually finished book 2 last year, so I have to finish the 3rd book. But just like I said before, the stories about the handmaidens is just very extraordinary. And I actually would have loved to have seen maybe more of a show based off of the handmaidens. And it was like, it probably would have been cool if it was like a Charlie's Angels type of theme, or yeah, or like get an animated version of the handmaidens. Probably we should have seen them more in the Clone Wars. It just would have been so cool to see them like in their actual, atmosphere and acting out.
oh, that would be awesome. Yes. And I told you last year about the books, and he said, "Really? What is it? I need to get it." And I said, "Yes, because you are recruiting us." And he's like, "Really?" And I said, "Yes, you go and recruit each of us, and you want to take us to your side." And last year in France, he was going to be in a convention, and they invited me as well. So we were going to be for the first time in a convention together. And then I was like, oh my God, I have an idea. What about if we read the chapter where he's recruiting me on stage, because we go for interviews, and so I proposed that to the organizers, and they said, well, if he's up for it, yes, why not? But in French, and he speaks French because he used to spend holidays there. So yes, so we did it, Nilda. Was fantastic.
What was it? Last year I got to meet Ahmad Best and got to ask him a couple questions of what it was like to work on the set of The Phantom Menace. Did you have any interaction with Ahmad Best as well?
No, I don't think so. But it's funny that these questions, because like I was interviewed once and they asked me, oh, so you act next to what is the name of the guy from The Wire? Dominic West.
Yes.
So they asked me, oh, you act next to Dominic West, right? And I was like, oh, I don't think so. And then knew that there is a video. Then he puts the video there where it's the part in my talking scene when the interphone goes and it says, and I said yes, and then he says, "Oh, Anakin," and I was like, "Oh, Anakin Skywalker to see Padme, Your Highness." So it was this part that was me and Dominic West, but at the time I didn't know who Dominic West was. So
I think everybody was just so like intertwined and like getting all their scenes all done together. So it's like you don't have enough time to just, kind of realize who you're there acting with. You're just like, you'll notice the main actors that like how you said, Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor. which I find it very cute that Liam Nielsen was asking you guys to sign his call sheet, because I have seen that before in conventions where like a whole bunch of actors have gone hopping around asking other actors to sign their posters, because at the end of the day they're all fans as well too.
Yeah.
So but yeah, like you guys, I think you guys are just so in that moment that you don't realize like who you're sitting with and acting with.
Yes, exactly. And like Louis McLeod, he was in the pod race, right? So I only
Hmm.
met him in the convention, which was great.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be meeting him at the end of May. He's going to be at a convention in Nashville. So I'm pretty excited to get like a plaque signed by him.
Oh, great. Oh, he's so lovely.
I'll make sure to show him this segment so he can see that I met you.
Yes. Oh.
But, you know, if you had any advice to give to anybody that wanted to act or puppeteer, what would be something that you would give them, especially, you know, being a woman in this fandom?
Being a it's oh
I know I just left you with a tough question.
yes, I know because I'm like I'm trying to see from my journey because everyone is different. Like, mm, you have. Um, it is a tough question. To what I would. It's. I think is your passion, and it's. I think it's a hard one. Like what I devise. I think what advice is it's you have to feel in what you love and what makes you happy, and because
I think your audio cut out.
yes, someone
No.
was trying to
There.
call. So I would say from my experience because I guess it's different for everyone. So for my experience, it I was really in love and I was really passionate about it. And I had an agency in London. I was quite young, and in London at the time, my look didn't fit in, or my accent. Uh, Now my English is much better, but at the time was quite was it yeah it didn't fit in. So the cast that I was getting at the time was like to be a siren in Jason and the Argonauts and have my hair flowing, half naked, devouring the man. And then I was like, no, thank you. Maybe if I was older, I would be like, yes, hell yes, this sounds amazing. Yeah. But at the time, I was like, no. So many casts that came to me for my character was all uh, things that I was like, I'm not sure. I don't like that. But I always want to create, I always want to perform. So then somehow puppetry appeared and was another way of self-express. So for me, for example, I need to express and I need to find a vehicle for it. And that's what makes me happy. And acting was the one that at the time I was so invested, but I could have gone back to Brazil, for example, and then acted there. But I was wanting to be here and I was in love. So as the time went and the castings kept coming and was nothing that I felt I wanted to do, my
Mhm.
creative energy went somewhere else. So is that Neil, is that an answer? Does that answer?
Yes,
Because
that's an answer.
so it's like what advice, like follow you follow your passion, but it might change. It might, and also, for example, you don't know where he's gonna take, or it's not a straight line. Sometimes a circle. Sometimes we'll come back, and it's yeah.
I like that. Sometimes the path that you're trying to go to is not the path that that's actually leading you to.
Exactly, but but was it's but you started on it, and and you started when I started, it was so beautiful, and I met so incredible people, and then it went somewhere else, and it's it still continue, and I don't know where else it's gonna lead. That's the other beauty of it. It's like it's changing.
So Star Wars Hunter asks again, if you could change one thing about your character Rabe in the movie, what would you have changed?
If I could change something, that I would, I think, like I wouldn't change. I think I would add more. Would be more, seeing more them together, them doing like more action scenes together. So I don't think change. I would add.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I don't think your character needed any changing. I think they needed to add more of your characters in order for us to understand. And honestly, I think I would have loved to have seen more behind the scenes of what it would have been like to have Padme and her handmaidens when she's in her chambers, and the form of discussions and secrecy that the women all held together, because I'm pretty sure they all probably knew that she was with Anakin.
Ah, yes, exactly. Those behind the scenes, and
Yes. Because you even see it like in the medieval times, or even, like in England, you get to see that too. When the king, he had his own set of men that he had in his chambers, and they held all their secrets. The same thing, the queen had handmaidens as well. Back in, the 1700s, 1600s, even Queen Elizabeth had it herself. And it would have been nice to have seen the perspective and that relationship that Padme had with her handmaidens, and like who knew more secrets than the other.
ah, oh, that is so funny. Who knew more secret than the other? Because talking when I was talking to Kate, the AK Johnson, she was talking like Sabe. Yeah, it's the decoy and all her secrets and all. But then I made a joke. I made a joke with as we were talking, because I said, "Yes, that's what you all guys think, but you didn't know that Rabe was very close to Padme." And then I told her about the premiere, in the premiere of the film when it came out in 1999. Uh, they asked me to if I would like to go and dress up as Queen Amidala to greet the crowds in Leicester Square in London, where the premiere was. And so, yeah, I dressed up, and then later in the party, it happened in a massive place, and was beautiful. There was a curtain. No one knew what was behind, but you start hearing the symphony of the film, and the curtains went up, and there was the whole orchestra there playing. And the premiere was 99, but actually we were filming in 97. So 2 years, like, so I haven't seen Natalie in all those time. And there was no handmaidens who were invited for the premiere, and was just like, I think the famous people: Liam Neeson, Ian, Natalie, Ahmed, Jake. So
Jake.
yeah, Jake. So but the handmaidens wasn't. I was the only handmaiden there, and and they were all in the VIP part that was up. Yeah, I was in the area where there was no, there wasn't the VIP. So suddenly, as I'm downstairs, from upstairs, Natalie, pardon me, it's like, Cristina, Cristina, because at the time they called me my middle name. Yeah, was Cristina, Cristina. And then I was like, hi. She's like, come up, come up, come up. Like, what are you doing out there? Come up. And then I said, well, you have to have it. It's VIP. So she just took from her neck the VIP pass,
The necklace. Yeah.
a necklace which has Darth Maul on it, and throw it to me. But I was with my boyfriend at the time, and I said, "Thank you," but I didn't. And she looked around at the table. I don't know who passed it was, but she looked around. She grabbed one and she threw it to me as well. So then we went up to the VIP, and then I was there with her, and fun. How amazing is that? So then I made a joke to Kate. I said, "Yes, you guys think it's." Was Sabi, yeah, but no, Sabi wasn't there. Rabe wasn't, and also the queen got Rabe to come to the VIP. So yeah, so
we'll make sure not to tell the actress who played Sabe that you were the head handmaidens, the queen's true handmaiden.
So then I make that joke to Kate. I said, yes. So look, who did she throw the VIP past you? Oh,
I love that. The one thing that I will say that I love doing these interviews is like I get to hear some of these behind the scenes stories, and it's core memories that you will always forever remember. And it's stories like that is what makes Star Wars so much fun on the things that happen on the set or outside of the set with the group.
Yes, and there is. Let me show you this picture. That's one of our last day of filming. Oh, okay. So here it is. What she threw down to me.
Oh, you kept it? That's so awesome.
Wait a minute. Oh, whoa.
Oh, it has Darth Maul on it.
Yes! Oh. Oh, look here, her favorite handmaiden.
How funny. I love that.
And that's her mom in the background.
Oh. That is so awesome.
Oh, so indeed, yes, I know, it's so sweet. Oh, and this.
That's awesome.
This is Neil. That this picture, I think, for me, is hilarious. This was when we went for dinner, and that when we were in Caserta, in this little town, and we had dinner there at the table, and it was George, me, Sophia, Erita, Liz, Natalie, and in the end, I got someone to take a picture with my camera, yeah. But in the picture is the funniest thing, because the guy who took the picture, the restaurant guy, was showing this, I don't know, this bottle that he opened, and it's just in front of George Lucas' face. Look at this.
Oh.
Can you see?
Oh my God, you see half of George Lucas.
I know, this is so. I think this one is Sofia Coppola. Here is, where is Sophia? Sophia's here.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that's George right there.
Me and George right there, and then Liz there. Oh, So that's the only picture I've got of George, and he's with a bottle on his face.
I wish we can get a software where you can scan that photo and just like digitally remove that bottle.
Oh, yes, exactly. But it's quite funny as well. Like those things are.
It is. I have one question. What was it? What was the best part of being on set?
Oh, it was like when we were surrounded by the planes and we were running, shooting. That was like fantastic.
That must have had like your adrenaline pumping.
Yes, yes, we were all. And there was one day we had to finish filming earlier because there were people up shooting at us, but they were shooting like soft little, I think probably was rubber little
Mm-hmm.
bullets. But in one of those scenes, Natalie was next to the a wall, and the bullet came nearby and splashed some dust that went in her eyes. So that day was like,
Ooh.
yes. So so of course it got us bumpy because there was little bullets coming down at us.
It's so mean. It's
I
funny.
know, but
So
it's
I'll
just
show
like a
you.
great effect on the walls, and suddenly got too close.
Yeah. So I've been recently reading, because let me see if I can pop it up. So I've been recently reading the Star Wars Archives book. And in the first couple chapters, they talk about like all the behind the scenes stuff during the Phantom Menace, all
Oh
the
wow.
filming, all the stuff that just went down. So like it's funny that you're saying that some of the things that happen on set is some of the stuff that I've actually have like heard some of these stories on the book. And you get to find out like more detailed stuff. So I haven't finished chapter 1 yet with the Phantom Menace, so hopefully like some of the other stuff that we've been discussing will pop up on here as well.
Oh wow.
What is I got Rob here says, what was the most rewarding experience that you had while working on a Star Wars film?
The most rewarding. I think is being together with everyone and having fun. That was very rewarding. You're there, and then you, you're collaborating to make something together, and also you are like having fun. So that was very rewarding.
Plus the stories that you have as your
Yes,
memories.
the stories then.
Yeah, I've always heard nothing but the nicest things about Natalie, and just hearing your stories with her just makes her character just I love Padme so much even more now because of
Yeah.
it.
Oh yes, and I hope to meet her one day again.
That'd be nice. Hopefully can get her at like a Star Wars convention probably in like California or something, cuz I know she goes there a lot. Maybe they can have her
Oh
like a reunion with all her handmaidens.
yes, I saw that. I saw. Where did I saw? Was it last year? I don't know. Probably was she was going to California, but there is the Sikh signing name is SWAU.
Yeah, SWAU.
AU. Yes, so I saw that they were taking her to. They announced that she would be doing private signing. So I wrote on their page saying, "Oh, I'm one of her handmaidens. I would love to come to one and meet her." And I said, "Would be amazing if I would come and we could make a surprise, or I don't know, or maybe not a surprise, or tell her like one of her maidens after so long time she's coming over." But they never answer back.
Oh,
They probably thought, who
well,
is nutty person. What a
Well, we have to make that happen. We need to do like a whole reunion of the handmaidens with Natalie.
yes,
It's gonna be
imagine.
that's gonna be my I'm gonna manifest this for 2025, 2026. We're gonna try to get all the handmaidens together. I have to write all of them and then write a long, long letter to Natalie. That would be the greatest thing ever is to get all the women together.
Imagine all of us after all those years together. That's
Yes. All those
incredible.
years together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody went to go do their own thing as well. Most of the women are acting as well too. You're doing puppeteering as well. So it's just like, that would be amazing. And it just to, just to see the interaction. And then plus, I would definitely ask Natalie Portman who was her favorite handmaiden.
That would be amazing. Exactly. Oh, well, at least we were the one that spent more time together. Oh, and
Yes.
that also would be amazing to have Kate Johnson there as well, because that's
Yes. I'm
incredible. Imagine.
I, I'm telling you, I'm gonna manifest this. I'm gonna try to see if I can reach out to Kate Johnson and see if we can like figure out how to do this. But I would really love to see all the handmaidens and Natalie together and probably do it with Kate because of the fact that she's written 3 books about this.
Exactly. Like we wrote to each
Yes.
other and we were like, oh, it would be amazing for us to be in a convention together. Yes, it would. Maybe it will happen.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try within the next couple days I'm going to try to reach out to Kate and I'm just going to see like, hey, what do we have to do? Who do we have to contact? Like how can we get this ball rolling? I will, post this online and try to see if we can get as many people to, share it, like it and try to see if we can get this to happen.
And she is very good at that because last year, when I knew I was going to be in the convention with you, uh, many years ago, he gave me a little trade card which has a picture of me and him together shooting.
Mhm.
And I tried to find out this photo to take to the event because I said it would be amazing, him and me together. But I couldn't. So I reached out for friends on Instagram saying, does anyone know where this photo is? Who can help me? And they told me this is a production photo because it's not on the film. So when Kate wrote to me, said, Karol, maybe blah, blah, blah in Lucasfilm might be able to help you. And then I got a message from a Star Wars account saying that we found it. We found the photo. And I was like, oh, really? And then they asked for my address and everything. And they sent it. They sent it to me, which I was like, wow, overwhelmed. And they sent with a little, most beautiful note, Nilda.
Oh gosh.
I know. So imagine that's the thing. After all those years, been 25 years, and then I receive a little letter from Lucasfilm. I don't know if you can read.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I was like, oh my God, thank you for protecting the Queen of Naboo. Oh, I was like, ah.
I would have been crying.
I was like, I was shocked. I was like, oh. So yes.
Vicente asked. Vicente asked, "Would you
Yes,
come
I
back to
would.
Star Wars universe?"
Oh, totally. Yes, I would.
You got to send me a picture of that letter from Lucasfilm so I can add it onto the reel. That is, oh, my hands, I would have been shaking if I received that.
Yes, I was like, I think I did a post and I was like dancing. No, I was because I asked people, yeah. I was like, there is also this, that's another thing of the community. I was like, does anyone know where I can find this? And suddenly one reached to the other. And not only that, Nilda, someone reached to me and said, oh, my daughter, look, she's been doing work on it and she can make it good for you. And I was like, wow. Thank you. And so when I got it, I was dancing and putting a music going like, "You got it, oh baby, we got it." Oh.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's so good about this community. It's like if you don't know where or how to acquire something, people can help you. And that's like one thing that I love about, like I said, about this community. And I try to do the same thing too. Like anything I ever find out about Star Wars, I do not gatekeep whatsoever. I'm constantly posting it, sharing it, because, you know, I feel like as a community, it's great to help each other out. It's a full circle spectrum type of thing. And if there's something that I have to find, they can always help me, and vice versa, I can always help them. So that's awesome that, like you posted that out there and people were able to come together as a community and help you find this.
Yes, I was so moved. I was like, ah. So yeah, so it's becoming, it's a new world that I've been discovering, Yoda, like families, communities, and how yeah, everyone helping each other. I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like what Star Wars came out, but then from there, so many seeds, so many flourishing in communities all around the world.
Hmm. Well, Carol, I actually had you on for an hour. I thought we were going to do 30 minutes and we ended up doing an hour. But my this is one of my really good friends, Leo. He is probably one of the coolest people you'll ever meet in the Star Wars community. He is the king of constantly posting, giving out information to anybody who ever wants to know any knowledge wise. And this is what he wrote. He said, "Please return to a galaxy far, far away. Your presence was definitely appreciated."
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, guys, Carol is constantly online. You guys, like I said, I've said this before. Anybody that I've ever met before in the Star Wars community, they're always so loving and respectful, and they're always reaching out to their fans. This is Rolando had posted it earlier. This is the link to Carol's actual Instagram account. She will like your stuff, which is funny because that's how Carol and I met. I posted a reel, Carol liked it, and then when I saw who it was, I was like, wait a second. I was like, she looks so familiar. And then when I clicked on the profile, I freaked out. And like, I remember I immediately messaged Carol and I was like, thank you so much for liking my video. I was like, oh my God, I appreciate it. I was like, can I please get you on my show? And then also, guys, Carol has an autograph shop. You guys can check it out if you want to purchase any autographs from her. And I think Carol got kicked out because of the fact that we're on two different time zones. I think her thing was acting up. But yeah, guys, I'm going to try to see if we can get Carol back on again. Um, Thanks, Leo. Super share this ASAP. Yes. So, as you guys saw that I was talking about on the show, I am definitely going to try to reach out to the author Johnson. Going to try to reach out to some of the other handmaidens, and I'm going to try to see if maybe we can get this ball rolling. Let's see if we can do a Queen Amidala with the handmaidens reunion and just get all of them together and just enjoy this. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, normally this is not my time that I'm always doing live streams. I will be making a whole bunch of reels in regards to this. But thank you guys again. Hit the like and share button, and I will be posting very soon. Thank you guys. Have a great day.